Hare Krishna Maharaj Dhanavad
Didi. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha सर्वप्रथम अस्मदीय गुरुपाद पद्मनितला पृष्ठ जगत गुरु श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज then Trendy Swami Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, Namnishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are gathered here, please accept my humble obeisances. So we are discussing today the last day of Kartik. So Radha Kunj, many devotees, about 10 devotees took sannyas Premananda Prabhu's ashram. So I congratulate all of them. Shri Gopananda Band Maharaj gave them sannyas. Got a news from internet, from Facebook. I'm so happy. Most of them I know, Giridhari Prabhu and other devotees I know. So it's good that Jagmohan Prabhu, who was with me in Los Angeles also, he took sannyas apparently. And some other devotees, Chaitanya Prabhu from Brazil also took sannyas. I don't know their new names, but I congratulate them, wish them that they will make swift progress, pray to Krishna. So, we are now reading Jaiva Dharmada, chapter 8, page number 166. The purport of these two shlokas is that one cannot even approach Hare Krishna, the threshold of bhakti, without worshipping Bhagwan in the form of the deity. If one rejects the deity form and resorts to logical debate about alone to deduce the truth, his heart becomes dry and he cannot ascertain the true object of worship. So one of the offense is actually to consider the deity to be stone. Arche Vishnu Shiladir, Guru Shunarmati, Vaishnave Jati Buddhir, Vishnura Vaishnavanam, Kalimala Mathane Pad Tirthe Amba Buddhi, Sri Vishnu Namni Mantre, Sakalak Vishahe, Shabda Samanya Buddhi, Sri Vishnu Sarveshwareshe, Taridra Samadriya Seva, Narakisa. If you think that deity is made of stone, Guru is an ordinary human being, then you are committing an offense. And it's a great thing, actually. We are all worshipping the deity, and we can see the benefit of worshipping the deity. And Srila Gurudev also was telling that we pray to Krishna, but we don't pray to Krishna alone because Krishna is busy. So we try to pray to his devotees also. Krishnam smaram janam chasya preshtam nija samihitam tattat katha ratas chasu kuryat vasam braje sada. It's not only we pray to Krishna, but to his devotees also. And it will be more beneficial for us to worship his deities, to worship his devotees, than we worship Krishna. Because you see that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gurudev was telling that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very strict. And he did not forgive Chota Haridas. Even Kala Krishnadas also, he, as soon as he returned from his as soon as he returned from South Indian trip, then he rejected Kala Krishnadas also. He sent him away from his seva. But the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are very, very merciful. The associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are very kind. And we pray that's why to Nityananda Prabhu and to Rups Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So we will be benefited more if we pray to the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is told here that if one rejects the deity form and resorts to logical debate alone to deduce the truth, his heart becomes dry and he cannot ascertain the true object of worship. Now, our heart should not be dry. Like Srila Gurudev was also telling that we should have the Yukta Vairagya. What is Yukta Vairagya? That will be described here in this book. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharyam Upayunjatah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi Vairagyam Yukta Muchyate. that don't be attached to the sense objects and have a relationship with Krishna. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharyam upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhi vairagya vichate. But there is something called smashan vairagya. One of my nearby relative has died, so I developed some renunciation. Shushka vairagya, dry renunciation. Or there is a renunciation which is prasav vairagya. A woman, she gives birth to a child and she feels excruciating pain while giving birth to a child. Then she thinks that I will never associate with my husband anymore. So that type of renunciation is called prasav vairagya. The renunciation developed after the childbirth. But genuine renunciation will come when we are doing bhakti, when our heart is surcharged with the mellows of bhakti, bhakti rasa. So yet, even when one accepts the deity, it is essential to serve him in transcendental consciousness, Shuddha Chinmaya Buddhi. Like, for example, how deity was served, how Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj used to serve the deity, Gaur Krishna Babaji Maharaj used to, Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to serve the deity, how Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to serve the deity. That Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, how they serve the deity, that mood is required. They are all situated in transcendental consciousness, Shuddha Chinmaya Buddhi. In this world, the jivas are Chinmaya Vastu, conscious entities, and among all the jivas, the bhaktas of Krishna are Shuddha Chinmaya. Understand? All the living entities are conscious entities, but their consciousness is not pure. Everything matters is purity, how pure it is. Understand? Like people will pay a lot of price if something is pure. Like for example, Shripad Dandi Maharaj cultivated some turmeric. Then he was saying, oh, even 200 rupees for half kilo, and people are buying it because it is very pure without any pesticides. Very good turmeric he has cultivated in the ashrama. So raising funds for the Goshala. But then you have turmeric in the market which has wheat powder in it, or it may have maida or bleached wheat powder and whatnot. All types of ingredients are mixed with it, adulterate it. Then it doesn't carry much value. So the devotees, their consciousness is purified. So they are called Shuddha Chinmaya Buddhi. They have pure spiritual intelligence, and that's why the devotees are great. And in order to understand them, it is essential to have Sambandha Gyan, which is knowledge of the interrelationship between the material world, the jivas, and Krishna. Now, what is the position of material world? Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara ityam me bhinna prakriti rashtata. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, this is all constituting the material world. Ashtadha, this lower prakriti of Krishna, Bairanga prakriti, or Jada prakriti as. But then, Jiva is a higher type of prakriti of Krishna. And this Jiva is actually part and parcel of Krishna. But having forgotten Krishna, is trying to exploiting this material world. Is trying to enjoy this material world, and that is the problem with the Jiva. Despite being the Bhogya Vastu, he is the enjoyed, he is trying to be the enjoyer. And that is where we land in the problem. So if one is to worship the deity with Sambandha Gyan, then one must worship Krishna and serve the Bhaktas at the same time. Now it makes no sense that you worship Krishna alone and don't worship Radharani, or don't worship Yashoda, or don't worship Balram Prabhu, or you don't worship Gurudev. Not possible. You cannot worship Krishna unless you worship Gurudev and Vaishnavas. Understand? And Guru Parampara. Like Jaiva Dharma, for the future classes, discussion will come about Guru Parampara. Maybe next chapter only. That what is the necessity of Guru Parampara? A question will be asked. And then it is told that without Guru Parampara, one cannot get bhakti and the knowledge of bhakti. And the discussion goes on. And Vaishnav Babaji explains that how it is important to have parampara. Sampradaya vinaste mantraste nishfala mata ata kalo bhavishyanti chatvaro sampradayina. Without accepting mantra from Sampradaya, your mantra will be fruitless. Your mantra will be effective only when you accept it in Sampradaya. So you have to belong to some Sampradaya. But then Srila Gurudev was telling that if you are all the time discussing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Arjanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Itibam Sarpita Vishnu, Bhakti Chena Valakshana, Bhagavati, Tanmanne Aditam Uttam. We are only discussing this, but you are not talking about gopis. Then what will happen? Then better that you go to Ramana Sampradaya. Why you are in Gaudiya Sampradaya? Gurudev was asking this, telling this. He says, if we don't allow any discussion of the gopis or the moods of the gopis or Chaitanya Charitamrita, then why we are not in Ramana Sampradaya? So Srila Gurudev said that Vikreditam Vrajavedav idam cha Vishnu Shraddhan Vito Anushranayad Atavarna Yedya Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Rudrogam Ashu Apainoti Achirena Dira. When we discuss pastimes of Sri Krishna with gopis, then we make advancement. It is compulsory that we listen to these pastimes. Like Srila Gurudev was giving class on this Damodarashtakam, he told, Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jala Abdimagnam. What is the meaning of word Vishnu here? And Gurudev was telling that here Vishnu means Vikreditam Vrajavedaviridam cha Vishnu. That Krishna who is sporting with Radharani, that is Vishnu. Or for example, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. What does Vishnu Smaranam mean here? For our use, Vishnu here means Radha Krishna. We should try to remember the sweet pastimes of Radha Krishna. That is what is our Vishnu Smaranam. So Krishnas and the Bhaktas are both Shuddha Chinmay Vastu, pure conscious entities. And in order to understand them, it is essential to have Sambandha Gyan, which is knowledge of the interrelationship between the material world and the Jivas and Krishna. If one is to worship the deity with Sambandha Gyan, then one must worship Krishna and serve the Bhaktas at the same time. Actually, we should have Sambandha Gyan with the deity. Understand? For example, a woman will get married in a family. She will not only serve her husband, she will also serve her mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. She will start serving everyone as per her relationship. She may not be that intimate with her brothers-in-law as much as she is with her husband. But with certain distance, she will also serve them. She will also be maintaining some safe distance from father-in-law and also giving him the due regard. She will serve him also if he is sick. But she will be most intimate with her husband only. This is called the knowledge of sambandha, relationship. Now the same boy and same girl, they may be living in the same locality, or they may be having some distance relationship also before, maybe distant cousin or something, maybe. But once they get married, they become very close to each other. That is called sambandha gyan. When they keeping the witness, brahmanas and the fire demigods, Tulsi and others, they take the vow of lifelong partnership. Then they become most dear to each other, most intimate to each other, more than mother and father are dear to the son. He will become more dear, more close to his wife. That is called Sambandha Gyan. Then he will spend all his money on his wife. If she is sick, he will try to get the best doctor consultation because now she is his wife. That is called Sambandha Gyan. If we have relationship with Krishna, the deity, then we must also worship the devotees. You cannot reject the devotees. If you, like in the next chapter, the discussion will come. One devotee by the name Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Das, he will ask the Babaji Maharaj that what category I belong to. So then he says, tell me more about you. And then he tells his activities and his mindset. Then he says, you are Madhyamadhikari. But if someone is worshipping the deity but not worshipping the devotees, then he is Kanishtadhikari, the lowest of the devotees. Understand? He is a devotee, still a devotee, but he is lower type of devotee. Archayam eva araye yojana shraddhayate nadat bhaktishu charnesu jana krakrita smrita. Those who only deal with the deity but don't worship the devotees, Understand? Not showing any respect to the devotees, then he is not a very advanced Vaishnava. This type of adoration and respect for Chinmay Tattva, the transcendental reality, which is endowed with Shraddha, is called Shastriya Shraddha, faith based on Shastra. Understand? In India, everyone has Shraddha. From day one of my life, I knew about Krishna, Ramchandra, Hanuman. My parents told me about it, my sisters told me about it, my relatives, my uncles, everyone worshipped Krishna and Ram and Hanuman. And so, in that sense, every Indian is practically born with Shraddha. But that is not Shastriya Shraddha, it is Lokik Shraddha. Because you bow down to Krishna, because your father bows down to Krishna, that's all. You don't know much about it. But when we hear the Jaiva Dharma, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, these exalted books from Acharyas, and we take Diksha from them, then we develop transcendental Shraddha, Shastriya Shraddha. This is a faith based on Shastra. This faith is actually very firm. Understand? This form. Actually, many times the devotees lose faith. Gurudev was also telling that, many times bad things happen in the life, and then what happens? We start blaming others for it. If anything good happens, we are very much running to take credit for it. It's because of me this good thing has happened. But if anything bad happens, what we do? We immediately blame other devotees, other people, or we blame Krishna straight. It's all Krishna's fault. Understand? We forget that important verse which Gurudev told us always to remember. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano punjane evatmakrutam vipakam rudvag babuvir vidadan namaste jive tayo mukti sade sadaiva. If anything bad has happened, then I should blame myself, my past misdeeds. As a result, I am suffering this consequence. I should not blame other devotees and Krishna and other persons. We are responsible for anything that is bad happening to us. Then sometimes bad things happen in devotees' life, and they are sometimes the causeless mercy of Krishna. Because Bhagavan wants us to be very humble. Don't think that Draupadi was insulted in the assembly of Kauravas because of her past karma. No. It was to show the world something, the side effects of gambling, and also to destroy the Kauravas on some pretext. Bhagavan arranged this pastime. Pure devotees have no karma. Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. Do you think he had karma? One is chanting 3 lakh holy name, Shuddha Nam, how can he have any karma? But to show the world the greatness of the devotee, Krishna arranges these pastimes. So, we should have transcendental Shraddha. Don't lose your faith just because something bad happens. And what should be your attitude if someone harasses you, someone curses you, someone beats you up, someone urinates on you? What should be your attitude? You should not retaliate. You should never retaliate. But rather you should think it is my own karma, not fight with the... Prahlad Maharaj never fought with Hiranyakashipu. Like some devotees, Charu Krishna Prabhu and Ramanjanelu, Ramana Prabhu, they went to one place in Dharmavaram. Now Dharmavaram is so far away from Ahobalam. Ahobalam is a place in Andhra Pradesh. Sripad Dandi Maharaj first time told me about it actually. Ahobalam. Aho means exclamation. Balam means strength. Oh, how much strength Nrsimhadev expressed there, manifested there while killing Hiranyakashipu. So that place is called Ahobalam. There are 9 Nrsimhadev deities are there. And in fact, Charu Krishna Prabhu told me that one footprint of Nrsimhadev is in Ahobalam. Another footprint of Nrsimhadev is in Dharmavaram district. That is like 300 kilometers away. Means how gigantic form Nrsimhadev must have taken to destroy Hiranyakashipu. And certainly because, Hiranyakashipu also was very big. Understand? Once Ravan, he wanted to fight actually. And Prahlad Maharaj went to Ravan apparently to talk to him. And he told Ravan that some story goes like this. Or maybe Bali Maharaj went to him. And Bali Maharaj told Ravan that Ravan, you should not fight with Ram. You should surrender to him. And then Ravan asked Bali Maharaj that why should I surrender? And he said, come with me, I will take you to one place. And he took him to one place where there was a huge, gigantic golden mountain. It was so tall, that Ravan's cap on his head almost fell down, crown on his head fell down, looking at the tip of that mountain. So that time, Ravan said, where is this golden mountain come from? Then he said, this is not a golden mountain. This is just one earring of Hiranyakashipu, my great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, means Prahlad's father. Understand? And that Hiranyakashipu was crushed like a mosquito. Just like we slap a mosquito and kill a mosquito like this. Generally, Vaishnavas don't do that, but you see how difficult it is to smash a mosquito with just palm, strike of your palms. With that ease, Narasimha destroyed Hiranyakashipu, and that Hiranyakashipu was so humongous. What will happen to you now? Ram will do to you, because Ram is even more powerful than Narasimha. So you should return his wife and surrender to him. But he didn't listen to the advice of Prahlad Maharaj or Bali Maharaj, because Ravan was also on a mission. He was Jai Vijay. So what the point I'm making here is that we should listen to the advice of other devotees, and also don't blame other devotees, but rather we should blame ourselves. So such customary worship of the deity is not Shuddha Bhakti. Like you see that many devotees worship the deities. Now Srila Bhakti Bharati Maharaj Ji, he wrote a very nice book explaining the life history of different disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And he is telling the characteristics of these disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, like Rishikesh Maharaj was talking about. Now, Rishikesh Maharaj was a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He said he had one quality, that if someone told him in Harikatha that you have to speak only 10 minutes in a public assembly, then he would speak only 10 minutes. Understand? And only 10 minutes he would speak. That was his characteristic. Understand? So, one disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, before he offered obeisances to the deity, is to ask who has installed this deity. If it is installed by any pure devotee, then they would say that no, this was not installed by a pure devotee. Then he would ask that, did any pure devotee ever come here and offer obeisances to this deity? Then if they said that yes, some pure devotee came here and offered obeisances, then he would also offer obeisances. Otherwise, he would not offer obeisances to the deity which is not installed by a pure devotee or which was not worshipped by a pure devotee. He said, no, I will not offer obeisances to the deity which is not installed by any pure Vaishnava. He was so particular about it. So, if we are performing customary worship of the deity, it is not Shuddha Bhakti, although it is the first step in approaching the entrance to Bhakti. Understand? But generally speaking, we always respect the deities because although they are installed or not installed, because they are made in the shape of Krishna, which is a transcendental shape, or any picture of Krishna also drawn by anyone, we always try to honor that picture because we accept it as non-different from Krishna. Krishna and his form are non-different. So picture also, especially if it is drawn by an authentic Vaishnava, then it becomes even more bona fide. Understand? If suppose Shamarani Didi has drawn some pictures under Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj or Srila Gurudev, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj used to say that your pictures are the windows to Vaikuntha. I can see Vaikuntha through your pictures. And Srila Gurudev also appreciated, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji also appreciated Shamarani Didi's art. And countless people appreciated her art because she was always under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj or Srila Gurudev, and she drew the pictures under their guidance. So such pictures are also as good as deities. गृहीत विष्णु दीक्षा को विष्णु पूजा परो नरः वैष्णव अभिहितो अभिनेर itaro asmad avaishnava. Now Haribhakti Vilas. Now this Haribhakti Vilas is a law book for us. Understand? For example, those who are um, studying law, then they will have to study the civil law, criminal law, dimension law, copyright law. Then there is also internet law, information law, cryogenics law, and so on. So many things. So many types of laws are there, right? So many types of laws are there. So for us also, there is one law book, and that is written by Srila Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. But Gopal Bhatta Goswami kind of kept his name away from it because he was not interested in publicity. There are many acharyas like Loknath Das Goswami. He told also Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, please don't publish my name. There are a lot of devotees, they don't want publicity. They don't want publicity. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami was one of them. So he didn't put his name on this book. Sanatana Goswami's name is there, but actually he was also helping compiling this book. So it is a law book of the Vaishnavas. In that one, very clearly told, Grihita Vishnu Diksha ko Vishnu Puja Paronara Vaishnava Abhito Abhikir Itaro Asmada Vaishnava Avaishnaviti Uktam Tatrado Sima Samanyato Vaishnava Lakshanam Likhan. So what is the characteristic of a Vaishnava? Gruhita Vishnu Diksha. He must have taken Diksha in Vishnu mantra. Any mantra, any Vishnu mantra means not just Krishna mantra, Gopal mantra, but it may be Ram mantra, Panchakshari Ram mantra, it may be Dwadashakshara mantra, Vasudeva mantra. He could have taken Ashtakshari Narayan mantra. He could have taken Diksha in say Kurma mantra, Varaha mantra. Understand? So many Narsinga mantra also, no harm. If he has taken mantra Diksha, then he is a Vaishnava. And he must be engaged in the worship of Vishnu. He is called a Vaishnava. And those who have not taken Diksha in Vishnu mantra and those who are not worshipping Vishnu, they are called a Vaishnava. So many things are there. But the first characteristic of a Vaishnava, like one definition of a Vaishnava is given also that one who follows Ekadashi fast is a Vaishnava. One who doesn't follow Ekadashi is not a Vaishnava. Understand? That is also told. So different definitions of the Vaishnava is given, but this is the most authentic because this is given by Sanatana Goswami Pad. Kanishta Vaishnavas or Prakrit Vaishnavas are those who accept a family priest out of hereditary tradition or who are prompted by Loki Shraddha, worldly faith, to imitate others by taking initiation into a Vishnu mantra and worshipping the deity of Sri Vishnu. Now, Kanishta Vaishnavas or Prakrit Bhaktas are those who accept a family priest. Like you'll see the house of Raghunath Das Goswami. His father, I think, they were Prakrit Vaishnavas. They were Vaishnava Praya. They were like Vaishnavas, but they were not really Vaishnavas. Understand? Because someone has taken a family priest as a hereditary tradition, accepted Diksha from him, out of faith from him. And some people also who are prompted by Loki Shraddha, worldly faith, to imitate others by taking initiation into Vishnu mantra and worshipping the deity of Sri Vishnu. Some people imitate the activities of Shuddha Vaishnavas. We should not try to imitate. We should try to find a pure Vaishnava. And we should try to learn from him the art of worshipping the deity, art of chanting the mantra, rules and regulations, and follow those rules and regulations diligently. Then only we are Vaishnava. So such materialistic devotees are not Shuddha Bhaktas. Rather, a shadow-like semblance of bhakti called Chaya Bhakti Abhas is a prominent in them. Like Sripad Danti Maharaj gives always an example of a shadow. He said a person may be very beautiful, but his shadow will be always ugly, very black and dirty. So like that, anything semblance is not very attractive. Original thing is always very attractive. Any person, very how much handsome or beautiful, The shadow will always be very, very ghostly, look like a ghost. But Shuddha Bhakti is very attractive. It attracts even Krishna. Understand? But a shadow, Chaya Bhakti Abhas, that Bhakti Abhas make you liberation, but it cannot give Shuddha Krishna Prem. Understand? To get Krishna Prem, you have to chant Shuddha Naam. You have to take initiation from Shuddha Vaishnava. And you have to associate with the like-minded devotees. Not that your Gurudev is telling you only Vatsalya Katha of Yashoda Maya. He is always about in the mood of Yashoda Maya, and then you want to be in Gopi Bhav or Panjari Bhav. That will not work out. Understand? He should also be in the same mood as you. He should also be Sajatiya Shayas Nikde Sadhu Sango Satam Vare. Otherwise, you will not benefit. Or if you take associate always with Ram Bhaktas, you will not make much progress. Or you will get their moods. However, they do not have Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas, which is a reflective semblance of Bhakti. This Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas is offensive in nature and is devoid of Vaishnavism. Now, Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas is with the Mayavadis. Mayavadis, what they are doing? Aham Brahmasmi. I am myself Krishna. Shivoham, they telling. I am myself Shiva. Now, this, you see that Jayavadharma also this will happen. Devidas talking, and Chudamani and, Lahiri Mahasaya conversation. You will see this Mayavad discussion again and again coming up. So, this Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas is offensive in nature because Mayavadis, they think that God is formless. Second thing is that they themselves will become God. And then they say that, oh, Maya Mukto, Maya Baddha Bhave Jiva, Maya Mukto Sada Shiva. If you are covered by Maya, then you are Jiva. If you are free from Maya, you become Sada Shiva. So, for example, these Mayavadis or these impersonalists, they say that Durga is our mother, Shiva is our father, Durga is our mother, Shiva is our father. But then they say that when we become liberated, Maya Mukto, then we will ourselves become Shiva. So Lahiri Mahasaya is asking in Jayavadharma, in future chapter you'll see, Lahiri Mahasaya is asking his classmate from childhood, and he's asking him that, you tell me, Chandidas, that I think Devidas, he is asking him that, you tell me that what is your relationship with Durga? Then he's telling that Durga is our mother. When we are in conditioned state, we are in Maya, Durga is our mother. But when we become free from Maya, then she becomes our wife. Then Kalari Masha says, look at this nonsense. Understand? Means you first regarded Durga as your mother. And you say now in liberated condition, I will myself be Shiva and she will be my wife. Then what Durga does to such people who say that we are your son, and then they say we are your husbands? Then she will take a sword and she will become Kali and she will cut off their heads. And she will wear the necklace of their skulls around the neck. Understand? Such demonic people. You should never and never say that Shivoham, Gurudev said. Never think that you are Shiva. Always think that I am servant of Shiva, I am servant of Krishna. Vaishnavana Mata Shambhu. Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas. I am servant of that great Vaishnava. And his wife Parvati is also great Vaishnavi. I am her servant also. And eternally I will remain servant of great Vaishnava and Vaishnavi, Shiva and Parvati. And I will be servant of Radha Krishna also. So Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas is very offensive. See, your Pratibimba means actually your reflection in water. And and Chaya means shadow. Shadow may be connected with the original object. Like if you are walking, your shadow will always be connected to you. Like many times, I used to walk with Sripad Dandi Maharaj in the jungle, sometimes through villages. We used to come to ashram. At night time, Hesarkatta, sometimes auto available. That time there were not many autos. Everything, and we have come by the last bus, landed in Hesarkatta bus stand. And then we are both walking in the night time, together, in middle of nowhere. So when we are going like that, shadow used to fall. And we used to see the shadow very long, depending on where the moon is. And you can see a beautiful moon actually. That time Yalanka airport was not there. Now you can always see at least one airplane light twinkling in the sky. But that time there was skyways were free, and you could see always the moon and all. And shadow is always connected to your body, but your reflection in the water is not connected to you. So Chaya Namabhas or Chaya Bhakti Abhas has some connection with Bhakti, and it can give liberation. Hmm. This will be discussed more in the 23rd, 24th chapters of Jaiva Dharma. Chapter 23 of Jaiva Dharma is always Nama Tattva, Nam Tattva. And also, chapter 24th will discuss about Nama Bhas and Nama Prat. It will discuss Nama Prat. What are the different types of Nama Prats? So these are very important chapters which are coming. Jaiva Dharma is such a great book. Srila Gurudev told that you must read 108 times. He said, if you have nothing to read, if you read only Jaiva Dharma, you are okay. He said, you will get so much Siddhanta you will come to know. Even Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj also, his Gurudev, he had many doubts when he joined the Mati, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. Then his Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj also told him, if you read Jaiva Dharma, all your doubts will be answered. And that is what happened to this great devotee, Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, who was known as Bhakti Vallabh Brahmachari, that he started reading Jaiva Dharma and all his doubts vanished. So Abhas, what is Abhas? Abhas means, for example, Ajamil's case is there. Ajamil had a son by the name Narayan. He named his son Narayan. Some people say that some sadhus came to his house and they told him, better you name your son Narayan. No, that is not the case. He was a Brahmana. He was born in a very great Brahman lineage called Kanyakubja Brahmana. One of the best Brahmanas are from Kanyakubja dynasty. But because of the bad association of a prostitute, he actually fell down. But he had some sanskaras from his Brahminical lifestyle. And out of that samskara, he was inspired to name his eighth son as Narayan. And he was always calling his son Narayan by his name. And uttering that name Narayan created a type of avas, a semblance of the holy name, which eradicated all his sins. And Yamadutas protected him from going to hell. So that Namabhas had given him liberation. Liberation means he didn't have to suffer in the hell. Otherwise, he was the hellish torment was waiting for him. But the Namabhas saved him. And who recognized that he has done Namabhas? Yamaraj recognized. And Vishnudas also recognized. And finally, Vishnudas saved him from the clutches of Yamaraj and Yamadutas. And also gave him initiation in the Ashtakshari mantra, Narayan mantra. And finally, when he chanted, he went to Haridwar after that. After he was saved from the clutches of Yamadutas, he straight went to Haridwar and he didn't do anything else. He simply started staying in an ashrama, always cutting vegetables there, cooking, cleaning and helping, cleaning toilets, washing dishes, washing the clothes of other devotees, always chanting Harinam, serving Vaishnavas, chanting Harinam, serving Vaishnavas, chanting Harinam. He did nothing else. Kept on chanting his Ashtakshari mantra, Diksha mantra, and served the Vaishnavas and hearing Harikatha. What happened to him? The same four Vishnudutas, they came and they took him to Vaikuntha. Understand? It is not known how long he did this sadhana, maybe 1 year or hundreds or thousands or million years, but he went to Vaikuntha. So previously he had done Namabhas. That Namabhas actually helped him get mantra from these great Vaishnavas, Vishnudutas. And then he did sadhan, proper sadhan, after receiving mantra from his guru, the four Vishnudutas. And then he went to Vaikuntha. So the stage of Chaya Bhakti Abhas is the result of great fortune because it is the preliminary stage of Bhakti and people can gradually develop from it into Madhyam and Uttam Vaishnavas. Still, those at the stage of Chaya Bhakti Abhas cannot be called Shuddha Bhaktas. Such people worship the deity with Laukik Shraddha, worldly faith. They can only behave towards others according to the 10 types of religious duties that I have already described for people in general. The behavior of the Shastras prescribed for Bhaktas does not apply to them. For they cannot even ascertain who is a Bhakta and who is not. So actually, again and again, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Gurudev, they are making a point that Mad Bhakta Pujya Vidika, that devotee should be worshipped more. Srila Gurudev also telling today that Krishna may not forgive you very easily. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also very strict, but devotees are very forgiving. They are very kind and they don't see any defects of others. Adosha Darshi Prabhu, you don't see the defects of others. And point Srila Gurudev was making today that we should learn to forgive others. Gurudev was telling that if we don't forgive others, then how will Krishna forgive us? Understand? Suppose we don't forgive others. They ask for forgiveness, immediately you should forgive. Not that hold grudge against them. You should immediately forgive. Because if you don't learn to forgive others, then how will Krishna also excuse your faults? Another thing Gurudev was telling that if some doubt comes in your heart, or you become weak somehow, or some fault has taken in your heart, then there is some defect has rising in your heart, then you should immediately confine it with Gurudev. For example, they say that you have a tumor in your body, any part of the body. Then they teach you how to detect a tumor on your system, in your system, and then how you should go to a doctor. Then he will do chemotherapy or radiation therapy or whatever it is. Or someone like Sripadandi Maharaj would tell you to do immunotherapy by doing Ekadashi. Understand? Agnihotra Bhasma is also good cure for cancer. Tulsi is a good cure. Turmeric is good cure. But anyways, but first you have to detect a tumor. If your tumor goes undetected for a long time, there are chances that your cancer may not be cured again. It is incurable. Like one devotee came, Gadadhar Prabhu today, and he is working for TTD, and that is what he does, seva, that he is actually shaving the devotees who come to Tirumala. In Tirumala, there is great importance of shaving here. Devotees always come and shave here. Even female devotees also come and they shave at Tirumala. The Keshadan, they offer their long hair, as a tribute to Lord Venkateshwara. So his job is actually shaving others, shaving their head. He came today to our house and, he shaved us actually. So, so you see that actually we should learn to forgive others. We should not see their faults. And if someone is committing, harming us, criticizing us, we should forgive. Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj had this quality. He was so forgiving, very much forgiving. If anyone will come to him and ask him forgiveness, he will forgive them. Any devotee will mix with them very nicely. They'll feel, oh, Gurudev is ours. That quality he had. Srila Vaman Maharaj also was very quiet. He never used to speak. Many devotees used to think, oh, he doesn't speak at all. But that was his nature. He was very shy by nature. Actually, there is one astrological sign called Kanya Rashi. Kanya means actually Virgo. These Virgo people, they are actually very introvert and they're very shy by nature. That is what the Virgo is all about. Understand? So Virgo, the zodiacal sign, Virgo, people are very shy by nature. Obviously, our Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj apparently was very shy by nature. But Srila Gurudev was very much bold. If they would tell Gurudev that you speak Harikatha, Param Gurudev will tell him. Actually, Gurudev didn't know much Bengali that time. Means he was just learning. Because he was from Bihar, his mother tongue was Hindi. But he went to Nabatti when he joined the mud there, so he was just newcomer to Bengal and he didn't know much Bengali. So, but whatever Bengali knew, he would speak Harikatha. And he would also do kirtan, a lot of kirtan, because he could not speak language very well, so intermittently he used to do some kirtan. So Srila Gurudev is telling that how Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami was very shy, but he was also very exalted Vaishnava. So that power to discriminate is a symptom of the Madhyam Vaishnava. Ishvareshu tatadineshu balisheshu disasucha prema maitri kripa pekshaya karoti samadhyama. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam 11, Canto 2nd, chapter 46 verse, describes the behavior of Madhyam Vaishnava as follows. ईश्वरे तदधिनेषु बलिशेषु द्विसस्सु च प्रेममेते कृपापेक्षा यह करोति स मध्यम. Madhyam Bhagavati is one who loves Ishvara. Ishvara means Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. Don't think that anyone else is Ishvara. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And one must love Krishna. And the devotees, Madhyavadikari's second characteristic is that he is very friendly towards his devotees of Krishna. That is also very, very nice quality. And then he shows mercy towards those who are ignorant of bhakti. Like Srila Gurudev was telling that you are my disciples. Please take my books and distribute them. It is very important that you show compassion to others. If you don't show compassion to others, how will Krishna show compassion to you? Those who are loitering in ignorance, those who are suffering in ignorance, they don't know anything about bhakti. Their hope is that you go to them. Uninvited you to go to them and try to sell them my books. Give them my books so that they can read them. Help them advance in bhakti. Gurudev told, I have confidence that anyone will read my books, they will certainly develop bhakti. And then we should neglect those who are inimical to Ishvara or his bhaktas. Understand? If someone is criticizing our Gurudev or other devotees or to Bhagavan, then we should ignore that person. We should not associate with a person who is criticizing our Gurudev or Bhagavan or other Vaishnavas. We should ignore this, neglect such a person. Otherwise, we lose all our bhakti if we associate with a non-devotee and those who are Vaishnava, committing Vaishnava Aparadh. Don't criticize those who are doing Vaishnava Aparadh, but don't associate with them also. The behavior being described here is classified in the realm of Nitya Dharma, eternal religion. I am not referring here to Naimittik Dharma, temporary religion or worldly duties. The behavior that I am describing is part of Nitya Dharma. Nitya Dharma means what is our Dharma? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshje. Ahitu ki apratiyata yatma samprasidati. If we are doing kirtan, we are doing bhajan, we are not doing something superficial, something external, something that is artificial. No. We are doing something which is our natural innate propensity. Something that is, we must do it naturally. Like Srila Gurudev told that it is natural for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to love Jagannath, Krishna. Natural. Mahaprabhu, when he used to stand in front of the deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, the tears from his eyes, there was actually one depression in the floor there, and that entire depression in the temple of Jagannath used to become filled with his tears. Looking at Jagannath, whenever he used to come to Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to think that he has come to Jagannath Puri. He used to think that he is Radharani and Jagannath is Krishna. And he would not notice even Baldev and Subhadra so much. And he would pray and he would cry, Sayita Prananatha Paino. I have met that Lord of my life after such a long time. His condition was always Radharani in separation of Krishna. Uddhav Kyari, Kurukshetra, other places. He felt that deep separation. It was natural. So like that, we should also feel separation from Krishna, Gurudev, Vaishnavas. That is our Nitya Dharma. Service is our Nitya Dharma. Understand? For example, this Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he was in charge of this Bhakti Vinod Institute. There, they gave the knowledge about Bhakti also. And if anyone will not pass the exam in religious subject, then they would fail him. They would not allow him to advance. He may qualify in material subjects, but if he doesn't qualify in the spiritual subjects, then they used to fail him. Understand? So the behavior that I am describing is part of Nitya Dharma, and it is essential in the life of a Vaishnava. All types of behavior that are not opposed to this behavior may be accepted when necessary. A Vaishnava's behavior is directed towards the four categories of individuals. Number one, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. Now, what is our behavior to the Supreme Lord? We are supposed to glorify Him. Actually, many people, they say that, mm, this is actually, our life has many problems. Some ghosts are affecting, or maybe something like that. Um, like Srila ISKCON Sannyasi, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. Now he went, he's traveling. He just came back to India. I was seeing his vlogs, and apparently he led Sankirtan in one town in America. Then I don't know, I forgot the name of that town actually. It is called Ghost Town in America. Ghost Town. Maybe too many ghosts are there or something. So, but actually, if you do Kirtan of Krishna's names, the ghost will go away or they'll be liberated. Sthane Rishike Shatapatra Jagat Pravashyati Anurajyate Cha Rakshamsi Bhitani Dishodravanti Sarve Namastanti Siddha Sangha. So when we engage in Nitya Dharma, automatically we become free from all the types of defects. We become free from all types of anxieties, all types of worries. Diseases also will go away. Because this is Nitya Dharma. Nama Sankirtan is our Nitya Dharma. So Mr. Krishna is our Nitya Dharma. So we have to deal with Ishvara by chanting his holy name. Tad Adhina, his bhaktas. Then how we deal with the bhaktas? We try to serve them. Like Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj used to serve his god brother. Srila Gurudev used to serve everyone in the matha. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Srila Dandi was also always serving. He's always, I've seen actually his attachment to the devotees. So when the mud began in 2005, 2006, there was no hot water supply. And many children I had joined after some time. But Bangalore is always cold in early morning. And no one would take bath if the water, they have to take bath by cold water. Actually, cold water bath is very good for skin and for your health. But not everyone has that level of surrender. So, and electricity is very expensive, and there were not electric current also not was there in every room, and also sometimes it's raining and the connection is gone. So we had a boiler actually, and Shripat Dandi Maharaj used to get up at 3:30 or 4, and before Mangalarati he would heat up the water. He would stuff the stove, that boiler stove, with the wood, and he would personally try to light it up so that everyone will get some hot or even lukewarm water to take bath, which is tolerable. That is actually seva to the bhaktas. That is Shripad Dandi Maharaj has in him. And he always thinking of others. Like he got the cows also so that the devotees residing in the mutt will get good milk. And they can be offered to Thakurji, and devotees also will get milk. Otherwise, how they will have their physical and spiritual development? Because milk is liquid religion. But then there are some Balish. Balish means materialistic people who are ignorant of spiritual truth. A lot of people, like in Bangalore ashram also, we see many sages comes, many merchants come, many Marwadis come, businessmen come. Absolutely, they have no knowledge of what is Ekadashi, what is Harinam, why we should not take tea and coffee and onion garlic. And Sripad Dandi Maharaj always very kindly explains to them to scientific means, and that how one should do Ekadashi. Why it is the importance of Ekadashi. Hours and hours he speaks about Ekadashi. It is also compassion on them. They are bullish, they are materialistic, but they are not offenders. Understand? They may be materialistic, they may be ignorant, but they are not offenders. So such people you have to show compassion. Then Dveshi, those who are opposed to bhakti. If someone is opposed to bhakti, we simply have to ignore that person. Then we don't have to talk to that person. If someone is against Gurudev or Vaishnavas or to the line of bhakti, then we should do pranam to him from very far away, but not talk to him. So Vaishnava shows love, friendship, mercy, and neglect respectively to these four kinds of individuals. Means he will show love to Bhagwan. He will have friendship with those bhaktas. We should have very close friendship with the devotees. Don't make friendship with materialistic persons. Understand? We should make friendship with the devotees. And we should show mercy to those who are ignorant, and we should neglect those who are envious persons. Those are opposed to bhakti, we should neglect them totally. In other words, he behaves lovingly towards Ishwar. Srila Gurudev gives an example of Mirabai. Mirabai once wrote a letter to Tulsidas ji. Tulsidas was a great Ram Bhakta. Then she wrote that my family is opposed to, my in-laws are opposed to bhakti. What should I do? Then Tulsidas told her that Bharat Maharaj gave his mother Kaikai because she was opposed to Ram. Vibhishan gave up his elder brother Ravan because he was opposed to Ram. Bali Maharaj rejected his spiritual master Shukracharya because he was opposed to Vishnu and surrendering to Vishnu. If anyone is against Vishnu or surrender to Vishnu, then we should not deal with that person and we should ignore that person. We should reject that person. Understand? We should always neglect those who are inimical to Krishna and his devotional service. So the first characteristic of a Madhyam Vaishnava is that he has prema for Sri Krishna, who is the supreme lord of all. Now Krishna is called here the supreme lord of all. Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Brajendra Kumar. Krishna is called supreme lord because he is lord of all lords. All the controllers of the cosmic creation, he is the lord of them. And the word prema here refers to Shuddha Bhakti, without whose symptoms have been described as follows in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. Anyavilasita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavratam anukullena krishnana shriram bhakti uttama. Shuddha Bhakti. Prema here means Shuddha Bhakti. We should have Shuddha Bhakti towards Bhagavan. Shuddha Bhakti means not asking any material benefits from Bhagavan, liberation also not asking elevation to the heavenly planets, or even and totally forgetting that Krishna is Bhagavan. Understand? Shuddha Bhakti means, and that Gurudev said that always thinking that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that is not good. One day we have to forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should think that he is the son of Mother Yashoda. He is Radha Raman. He is the friend of Subal. That mood should remain. Brajavasi mood should be there. Understand? If that mood is there, then we are very lucky. Understand? So, Uttama Bhakti is the consummate endeavor to serve Sri Krishna in a favorable mood. So, Bhakti should not be unfavorable. Like Chanud and Mushtik, they are trying to please Krishna by wrestling with him. Krishna is happy, he wants to wrestle. But Chanud and Mushtik's aim and object is to crush Krishna. So, their activities are not Bhakti because they are trying to kill Krishna. If we consider the activities of Chanud and Mushtik to be Bhakti, then it will be then an Ativapti dosh will come in the definition of Bhakti. And Mother Yashoda's Bhakti, Mother Yashoda, she is binding Krishna. Krishna doesn't want to be bound. He has to play with his friends. Which child wants to be bound to the grinding mortar? Krishna is kicking his hands and legs, crying, weeping. Tears are rolling down from his eyes. His mascara, his black ointment in his eyes also spread on his cheeks. But Mother Yashoda is not letting him go. She wants to bind him no matter what. And finally she bound him by a rope to tie the calf or cow. Or not rope, but by her own band from the hair. She bound Krishna by not that band also. She bound Krishna by her Vatsalya Bhakti, her parental affection for Krishna. So that is Yashoda. Because she wants to make sure that Krishna doesn't get spoiled. That's why she is punishing him. Her mood is always of surrender, love and affection. So it is free from any other desire. It is not covered by knowledge of impersonal Brahma. Mayavadis, how much Krishna Nam they chant, the chanting of Krishna Nam doesn't give pleasure to Krishna. But chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra by Mayavadis is like attack of thunderbolt on the soft skin of Krishna. So we should not try to hear Harinam or the glories of holy name from Mayavadis, staunch Mayavadis. We should not do that. And by daily and periodic duties outlined in the Smriti Shastras or by renunciation, Yoga, Sankhya and other types of dharma. So Bhakti should not be covered by renunciation also. Vairagya is also important, but not that it will cover our bhakti. Understand? Nothing should cover our bhakti. Even mystic yoga should not cover our bhakti. Knowledge of Sankhya philosophy should not cover our bhakti. Bhakti is independent. She is Maharani. Understand? And she should get the due respect. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarvesha kripa sindhivacha paridanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. So we'll stop here today. We are stopping on the first paragraph of chapter of the page 169, Nitya Naimittik, Nitya Dharma and Vaishnava behavior. Thank you so much. If anyone has any comments or questions, please ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Prams. Thank you so much for the beautiful. I don't think there's any questions, so we'll end with Jai Diwali. Ananga Mohan from Jai Diwali, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
श्री गुरु गौरंग गिरिधारी राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत विष्णु देवी को स्वामी महाराज की जय। विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत नंदी को स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र श्री भक्ति संत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट पुराण भगवत प्रवक्ता श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सरस्वती दयानंद भक्तविनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सर्वभूम दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री गौड़िया वेदांत आचार्य श्री बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री माता श्यामानंद प्रभु त्रय की जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री रूप सनातन बात रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल बात दास रघुनाथ सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रमन श्री गौर प्रसाद विंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम सुखोर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत केदार श्री वसति गौर भक्त विंद की जय। शांतिदीप मध्यदीप कोलादीप ऋतुदीप जौनदीप मोदर ध्रुवदीप उदति पद्मकाशी नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री राधा गोवर्धन द्वादश भरण प्रकाश श्री ब्रजमंडल की जय। श्री राधाकुंड श्यामकुंड गंगा यमुना भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती विनु देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जी की जय। क्षेत्र मंडल की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशकारी श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रभाष प्रहलाद महाराज चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार आचार्य की जय। महाराज मात की जय। श्री केशव जी गौरी मात होता सकमा समा की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवत की जय। श्री जयराम की जय। शरणनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव विंद की जय। सामगा के गौर प्रेम हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल। जय 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 जय। अनंत प्रभु जी की जय। समागत भक्त वृंद की जय। पिताई गौर प्रेमानंदी। हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण।
श्रीपद भक्तिवेदांत विष्णु देव महाराज की जय।
जय
हरे
विशाखा
कृष्ण
दीदी की जय।
devotees, Dandavat Prams.
हरि बोल। Hare Krishna.
Kartik comes to an end, so we won't be Hare Krishna. We won't be having any more classes with Shripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj the whole week. We'll see Maharaj now on Saturdays, and we'll see Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Maharaj on Friday with Chaitanya Charitam Lilamrita. So thank you, dear devotees, for joining, and take care. Hari Bol Dandavat.
Thank you.
Upasana Vicha Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Vinam Hare Krishna Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj.